Sugar daddy slayed by two women after severing his thumb using it to buy drugs, booze on cash apps. Is that the best you have to offer for hookers down there in DC? Damn, this economy is hitting in every nook and cranny, isn't it? Even the prostitute market is feeling the pinch. Then you got her big back buddy or tag along her young protege. Between the two of them, they both look like exactly everything they've been through, and the fact that a man would actually pay to spit in her immediate vicinity is really the dish running away with the spoon. Two women have been charged with murdering and dismembering a man in Washington, D.C. in April, with one of them using his severed thumb to steal money from his bank account to splurge on Uber rides, marijuana, and booze. Court documents and police reveal you're dealing with people who have nothing, who want nothing, and who refuse to take even the filthiest of licks to improve their position in life, even in the slightest. Tiffany Taylor Gray, 22, was arrested in Maryland earlier this month on an arrest warrant for first-degree murder while armed for the slaying of 53-year-old Fasil Teklemariam, who was found dead in his Washington, D.C. apartment on April 5th, the Metropolitan Police Department said. One witness said that Gray worked as a sex worker. That term is to be used very loosely. Her resume should read unemployed and searching for opportunities, and that Gray described Teklemariam as her sugar daddy, although those claims have not been verified by police, an MPD spokesperson told Fox News Digital. The difference between a John and a sugar daddy: I think a sugar daddy is a little bit more of a casual relationship, but what was the end game in crossing someone who was actually putting money in your pocket? Where are your customers coming from? Have you seen yourself? We know you're down bad. You should be fetching milk bones off the metro. Anyone who's willing to throw you a few bucks to have sex could quite possibly be the biggest and only flex you have to your name. Teklemariam, a married father of two, stepping out on your wife with the woman that eventually killed you is wild work. According to a GoFundMe page, was found inside his Peabody Street home with stab wounds, multiple blunt force fractures to his head, and missing his right thumb. Another article said he had puncture wounds in his aorta, his spine, and his small intestine. Broken glass was also found about his body and on his bed, while forensic detectives determined that cleaning agents had been used to hide some evidence at the scene. According to an arrest affidavit, the exact details surrounding his death have not been revealed. A witness told police that Teklemariam's thumb was used to gain access to a finance app on his cell phone, which was stolen from the scene in order to buy liquor and drugs. Teklemariam's thumb and cell phone have yet to be recovered. Police say that Gray is one of four suspects, two women and two men, being investigated in relation to the slaying. All four suspects were seen on surveillance footage entering Teklemariam's apartment using a key fob and removing items from it in the days before police found him dead. Scavengers. Investigators believe Teklemariam was killed on April 1st. If I had to take a guess, only a guess because there were two other men involved also, I would say they found out she had someone giving her money. She had a cash cow, she had a sugar daddy, whatever you want to call it, and thought it would be a good idea to rob him, talked her into setting him up, and eventually murdered him. And now she's a co-defendant in a murder beef. You got to mind the company you keep. One of those suspects, Audrey Denise Miller, 19, of no fixed address. You mean she's homeless? That's what this whole story is giving. A bunch of bums that murdered someone, was arrested on June 21st and charged with first-degree murder while armed in connection with the killing. MPD said she is in custody awaiting a preliminary hearing. Surveillance video shows Miller and Teklemariam before his death, the charging documents say. An anonymous witness told police that Gray and Teklemariam knew each other and that Gray referred to him as her sugar daddy, and that she was involved in prostitution. There's slim pickings down there in D.C., I'll tell you. The witness told police that they had observed Gray using Teklemariam's severed thumb to steal money from his account. Investigators say they got a break in the case when they learned of a complaint Teklemariam filed with police claiming Gray had taken his phone and used it to steal $1,800 from his finance app last year. Per the affidavit, the two had met at his apartment on October 1st to hang out, but the following morning he noticed she had left and that his cell phone was missing, with charges made to his Cash App account. That doesn't even sound like a prostitute. That sounds like a bum that offered sex to come in out of the rain. Then once she got in, she started looking around and really showed this guy why she is where she is, doing what she's doing. They also discovered that Teklemariam's cell phone last pinged from a tower in College Park, Maryland, close to where Gray rented an apartment. Teklemariam was last seen alive on the evening of April 1st when CCTV footage captures him going to meet Miller outside his apartment and then going back inside with her. According to court documents, why are you still messing with these people after they stole from you the first time? He left about 20 minutes later later and returned shortly after with 3 cans of Coca-Cola, according to court records. Gray, Miller, and one of the male suspects were observed leaving the apartment building later on April 1st. Police in Maryland were able to zone in on Taylor after a man reported being robbed at gunpoint by 2 suspects at her apartment. What a coincidence. The man said he connected with Taylor via a dating app and arranged to meet her at her apartment. I have a ton of stories on this. When he got there, the 2 men jumped out of the bathroom and pulled a gun on him before robbing him. He was forced to reveal his banking PIN codes, and his home was also burglarized. Investigators say that Gray has repeatedly met men online and stole from them. When these women say they do meetups for sex in their profiles and you wonder why they're not afraid to meet total strangers, this is why, because they got the goons with them. They're going to set you up to be robbed. Back in March 2022, I caught the story of a Bronx girl. She didn't even come downstairs to let this guy in. She led him to an empty apartment and the goons hog-tied him and held him for ransom for $100K. This is what they're looking for. They're looking for people gullible enough to fall for the head fake. A black Dodge Durango being used by the 2 suspects and Taylor was also observed outside Teklemariam's apartment building in April. The vehicle ended up being confiscated by police at a traffic stop, and a shoe and a jacket inside the vehicle matched that being worn by one of the suspects seen leaving Teklemariam's apartment building on April 3rd, per the documents. If you committed a murder or a robbery, why would you even have the same clothes in your possession? The driver identified himself as Tommy Whack, and he is being charged in Maryland with unspecified crimes. Gray was also charged with armed robbery and armed kidnapping in the Maryland case. She is awaiting extradition to Washington, D.C. in relation to Teklemariam's death. There you have it, kids. Tiffany Taylor Gray. If you're going to risk your life for a prostitute, at least make it a better looking prostitute than her.